You are now listening to the Jay Porks Experience. Listen free on iTunes or at theandydareshow.com. Now, here's Jay!
Yo, what is the word, people? Welcome to another action-packed edition of the Jay Porks Experience. I'm Jay Porks. With me, as always, on the other side of the glass, making sure this is a well-oiled podcast machine. Every week, growing in popularity. Every week, expanding his network. Becoming more and more of a recognizable figure in society. The ever-popular Nobody. Got some things. We got stupid Coachella. We'll do that. We've got some emails. We've got some headlines. But first, I want to get to something near and dear to my heart. You know what happens when April comes around? When April comes around, the sun starts coming out. The grass starts getting green. And we start getting into one of my favorite times of the year.
Well, Mr. Burns had done it. The power plant had won it, with Roger Clemens clucking all the while. Mike Scioscia's tragic illness made us smile, while Wade Boggs lay unconscious on the barroom tile. We're talking softball, from Maine to San Diego, talking softball. Mattingly and Canseco, Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw, Steve Sachs and his running with the law. We're talking Homer, Ozzie and the Straw. We're talking softball, from Maine to San Diego, talking softball. Mattingly and Canseco, Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw, Steve Sachs and his running with the law. We're talking Homer, Ozzie and the Straw.
Obviously not softball, but baseball is what we're going to be talking about. And of course, I will simplify anything in life. So baseball season started. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, great, we're going to hear the Yankee fan. We're going to hear the Yankee fan talk about his Yankee team and his stupid dreams of a world title with his steroid-using DH, his old team with bad contracts and no pitching. And you're going to say to yourself, I don't want to hear this guy. I don't want to hear about this stuff. Well, I got news for you. You got to hear from somebody, right? You can't hide the facts. And the fact of the matter is that the Yankees have 4 people in their lineup that can hit 35 home runs if they stay healthy. Now, we're coming off a 19-inning game the other day. Now, first of all, Yankees-Red Sox the other night, I want to talk about this 19-inning game. I want to talk about it because it unfolded, and it kept me up till 2 a.m. And the fact of the matter is that, yeah, the Yankees go into extended slumps sometimes. But I'm still excited for baseball. We're under 500, still excited. Even after a 19-inning game, when your team loses, I just sat there and I said, damn, it sucks that we lost. But at the same time, I fucking love baseball. This is great. Now I want to talk about the pace of play. That's what I want to talk about. The big thing in the offseason is that the baseball is going to start instituting clocks. A clock for the pitcher. They're not going to let the batter step out of the batter's box. They're going to get fined because, quote unquote, pace of play. Because they want to speed up the game. Baseball's the only game without a clock. And that's one of the things that makes it baseball. One of the things that makes baseball what it is the fact that you can sit down and that game could go on as long as it's going to go on. So in May they're going to start fining players for taking too long throwing the pitch or taking too long stepping out of the batter's box. And what I have to say about that is that the Yankees just played a almost 7-hour game. So if you instituted pace of play rules for this Yankees-Red Sox game, what would you have saved? 15 minutes? So instead of 2 a.m., the game would have went off at 1:45? I'm sick of this pace of play. And we're going to talk about pace of play, yet it takes David Ortiz 5 years to jog around the bases when he hits a home run. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, do you honestly see this guy lug around the bases? If you want to institute some sort of pace of play, speed up the game, we cannot have David Ortiz run around the bases with his stupid beard and his stupid face. And for some reason, he gets to be the face of baseball. And it doesn't make any sense after he failed that drug test in 2003. Isn't it weird how nobody wants to talk about that? Nobody wants to address that time David Ortiz tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. I know it was back in 2003. Now, way back in the day, 2003 is way back in the day, by the way, the Major League Baseball Players Association said, fuck it. If X amount of players test positive for steroids, we'll institute testing. But I guarantee you that they were like, there's not that many players doing it, so this is the number, and it surpassed the number by a lot. So 2 guys on that list were Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. Now this comes to you not from some honky-tonk website, not from Bleacher Report or fucking Bob's Blitz. You know, this is something that the New York Times reported. The New York Times, not the LA Times, not the Times that you get in your town. The New York Times. The Record. The actual record of stuff that happens. So David Ortiz can go around being the face of baseball even though he's failed the drug test, and I was saying it at work all week. All week I'm saying at work. Him and A-Rod do the same amount of steroids. And my manager, who's a Mets fan, he goes, oh, what? David Ortiz failed the test? Failed exactly the amount of tests A-Rod failed, which is actually not true because David Ortiz failed this test and A-Rod didn't fail this test. So, I mean, none of the players that recently got suspended by Major League Baseball for performance-enhancing drugs actually tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Major League Baseball met with underground people and bought documents under the table at a diner. Cash. That's how they obtained that information. Anthony Bosch was on his way to jail, so he gave up a bunch of his friends. He gave up all those guys took their 50-game suspension. Besides, if they would have offered A-Rod a 50-game suspension, he would have taken it. But they didn't offer that to A-Rod. And I got to tell you, look at the strike zone A-Rod gets. And I know I sound like a whiny Yankee fan here. Look at the strike zone A-Rod gets. You would think he's still suspended the way they're treating this guy. Meanwhile, looks pretty decent at the plate. Besides, Monday night against Wei Ying Chen, he didn't look so good. He looked a little uncomfortable, but the Yankees still pulled it out. Andrew Miller with the 5-out save. It's Miller time. What team in baseball has a back-end bullpen like the Yankees do? Betances and Miller. Now, I know Betances is a little lost right now. He's got to find the strike zone, but it's still early in the season. Give him a week, and he's going to be in. He's going to be touching 98, 99 on the gun with that slider that falls off the table. The slider works as a change. It's insane. And Andrew Miller, it's Miller time. What teams have a back end of the back end of the bullpen like that? I know the rotation's a question mark. I know CeCe's got to get it together, but a couple of those runs were unearned the other day. He had one bad inning. And yeah, he's got to not have that bad inning if the Yankees are going to win. Pineda was strong on Monday. Tanaka gave him the 7-run lead on Saturday night, so was it Saturday night or Sunday night? Sunday night. These guys just got to build. They just got to build. Now, listen, the thing about Alex Rodriguez is that he was a phenom. He was 18 years old hitting homers. He can hit home runs by accident. So do I think A-Rod needs steroids? No. Do I think A-Rod's doing steroids? Yes. I think they're all still doing steroids. I think Ryan Braun is doing steroids. I think players that haven't been caught are doing steroids. Yes. It's still happening. And you know what? I'm a baseball fan and I don't care. Let these guys do what they want. If these guys want to destroy their bodies and really cause major damage to themselves later on in life, it's the same thing about, with the people who smoke weed. I mean, if it's got nothing to do with the person next to you, if I'm doing this, what does it matter? Like, not for nothing, if I'm a baseball player and I had the opportunity to make $50 million, but you would cut 20 years off my life, let's do it. I'll sign that right now. Right this second, I will sign that piece of paper, and I don't know if I'll find lots of people who won't sign that piece of paper. 2 years ago, A-Rod got paid $32 million for one season. $32 million for one season. If all of my friends got together and added up the net worth of everyone that they know, you probably wouldn't have even a fraction of that. Meanwhile, it was okay for Bud Selig to allow, like when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were jacking homers, and it was right after the strike, when baseball was coming out of the strike in 94 and they had the shortened season in 95, when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were hitting 60 homers in the same year, Bud Selig wasn't doing investigations that involved buying documents under the table in a diner with cash to see if they were doing roids or not. Because it was putting asses in the seats. He only found religion when it was his last year or two, because he's not the commissioner anymore. Now Manfred or something is the commissioner. It's funny how things change. It's funny how perspectives change when you're on your way out the door. Like Jim Rice. Does anyone remember Jim Rice? Listen, I say things like this as if I was around for when it happened. I wasn't. Jim Rice is an older player. He was center fielder for the Red Sox, I believe, in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. And the question after his career was, is he a Hall of Famer? And he was never really, he hated the media. So that's why he never got voted in. Because the media the media votes. So if after the games they go up to you and they say, hey, what do you think of that 3-2 pitch? And you say, I don't know. And you just don't give an answer and you hate the media, then when it comes time for you to be voted into the Hall of Fame, they're going to say, hey, remember when that guy was a dick to me when I was an up-and-coming sports writer? Learned how to say hello when it was time to say goodbye or something like that. It's like Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson's lucky he got in. Because Randy Johnson was through most of his career, if I was a sports writer, I wouldn't approach Randy Johnson, you're going to get a good quote. Now this guy's taking photos for Rolling Stone at Slipknot concerts. Crazy. It's crazy how times change. All of a sudden, he's the man. But I'm not saying you have to cater to the media, but if you're a professional athlete, part of getting paid, part of your salary is talking to the media, which is why it was a big deal when Marshawn Lynch, I'm only here so I don't get fined. And he started not answering questions. That's why that's a big deal. Because these guys have a job to do. That's like if I hit record on I don't get paid for the podcast, so it's not like that. But it's like if I hit record and I didn't say anything, and I just said, I'm just hitting record because I have to. It's what I do. It's what I do for a living. So, and again, back to the 19-inning game. For the Red Sox to bring in a knuckleballer in the 15th inning, that's not even fair. Because knuckleballers, the hitters have trouble with it because the ball's floating all over the place. And B, since those guys aren't really using their arm isn't getting much action. They don't have to give the ball much speed. They just float it over. They can go for 5, 6 innings at a time if you're coming out of the bull. They don't care. Out of the bully, they don't give a crap. Tim Wakefield used to come out and go whole game, and he was starting the next day. Not a whole game, but you know what I mean. So the Yankees are running out of pitchers in the 15th and 16th. We got 2 relievers who both went 3 innings. It was Jason Shri and Esmiel Rogers. Esmiel Rogers thought he was getting a day off. I saw that worked out for you. But both of those guys pitched fairly well. I know Esmiel Rogers gave up the game-winning run, but what are you going to do? I mean, it was 19th inning. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. You got to do what you got to do. So both those guys pitched well. They're going to be out. They're not going to pitch for a couple of days. And I mean, yeah, it was good to get back in the swing of things. The game was 6 hours and something minutes total runtime. There was an 18-minute delay for the lights were flickering. And it's just, when you get one of those long marathon Yankees-Red Sox games, it just kind of brings you back to, oh, I fucking love baseball. And how can you not? I got the games on at work. Now every night at work, it's Yankee time. I love it. And I don't know, and I was watching opening day on ESPN. I'm not sure if Andy's a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan. I'm not sure which one he is. Not making fun of either, but I'm making fun of the way Wrigley Field looks right now. Has anyone seen Wrigley Field? How do you start the season with half a stadium? They have half a stadium. The bleachers are under construction, so nobody can sit there. They're not the Tampa Bay Rays. They're the Chicago Cubs. They draw fans, especially early in the season before they're out of it. So to open the field on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball with half a stadium, that's a bad look, man. That is a terrible look. Speaking of looks, I was looking at some of the picks, and all the commentators, all the talking heads on TV have, there's like if you watch MLB Network or ESPN Baseball Tonight, a lot of the same themes are going on with picking the division winners. A lot of analysts are going, they're going with the Padres as an outside NL wildcard dark horse. A lot of people jumping on the Padres bandwagon because they got Will Myers, because they got Matt Kemp, because they got, is it BJ Upton or Melvin Upton? Whatever they're calling him now. Because they changed their outfield. They got Ian Kennedy. I think they got Ian Kennedy. Yeah. The hot pick is the Padres, and another hot pick is the Cubs. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The Cubs have been bad for years. Therefore, they've been stockpiling high-round draft picks. The last couple of years, they've gotten some of the best players in the draft because they've had one of the top picks in the draft every year. So Joe Madden takes over the team, and now if they sneak their way into the second wild card, I'm supposed to be convinced that Joe Madden is some amazing manager and Theo Epstein reinvented baseball, when in reality, you were just bad for a lot of years. Yankees were bad in the 80s, and they got Jeter. They ended up with a bunch of picks. That's what happens. And I'm not, and again, even though they have that young talent, there's no way that I'm jumping on a Cubs bandwagon anytime soon. There's not a chance in hell that would happen. Who's their all-star on the Cubs? That guy is in the minors? Ooh, they went out and signed John Lester. Ooh, oh my God. I am so worried about them. They got Phil Koch. I've seen Phil Koch firsthand. I'm trying to get the name. Who's that? The third baseman they sent down is Chris Bryant. They say this guy's the truth. I think Mike Schmidt says he's the best third baseman since Mike Schmidt. So they've got this prospect. He's 23 years old. He's born January 4th, 1992. Oh my God, I am so old. Anyway, they sent him down to the minors because he can't start the season with the major league team because of salary arbitration issues. He has to spend 9 games in the minors so they can control his contract for another year. Now, what that means is they can pay him not big bucks for an extra year if he doesn't play the first 9 games this season in the major leagues, which he's not doing. They sent him down, which wouldn't be that big of a deal if he didn't lead the major leagues in home runs in spring training. In like 40 at-bats, he had 9 homers. And he's got 2 homers in 2 minor league games so far. So if they call this guy up and this guy is actually the truth, then hey, they made the right decision. They get to control his contract for another year. Scott Boras is his agent. Scott Boras, the same guy who conned 2 major league teams out of $15 million into thinking that Stephen Drew is a major league player. Scott Boras is representing you. You know you're doing something right. Okay. So I'm not jumping on the Cubs. I'm not jumping on the Padres. I don't really have picks. Because the thing is, I'm a huge baseball fan, but I'm a huge Yankee fan, and I'm selfish, and it's really all I care about. All I care about is my team. I care about the Yankees. Like when Met fans want to talk to me, did you see the Mets do this? No, I didn't. I'm not watching the Mets. I don't watch Little League baseball. I don't watch that crap. I watch the Yankees. And if Teixeira stays healthy, if A-Rod can be half of the player he used to be, even though he's got 2 replaced hips, if Brian McCann can get the bat off his shoulders a little bit more, get a little more pop in his bat than he did last year, I think we'll be looking good. I don't feel good about Beltran at all. I don't know why he's on a 3-year deal. This is the 2nd year of his 3-year deal. He should be on a 2-year deal, so this would be the contract year, and he could mash. Because I promise you this, I'll be doing the podcast when that day comes where Carlos Beltran gets another 3-year contract. That's going to happen. Meanwhile, this guy can't even play the outfield. It's just weird to me. It's weird. I think the Yankees are going to win 95 games. And people think I'm crazy. And that's fine. Come check on me in a little while. Got 3 down so far. We already won 3. All right. So that's it for our Talkin' Baseball segment. We're talking baseball. You know what I want to do? Before I get into the break and I come back and I make fun of music stuff, you know what I really want to do? I want to play another Be Real track. Because I remember doing that podcast, I was so happy afterwards. Listening to tracks that I played, I just felt so good. I was like, yeah, I was playing music on my podcast. So I'm looking over this right now, and I am going to play another Be Real track. You know what? Because they just released the video for Mile High. So I'm going to play Mile High right now on the J Parks Experience.
smell it when I sell it and the hype is major. People shell it, gotta have it if you crossing the fader. And when I give a prescription, I got you dabbing and hitting the kush, sipping and shining, we push harder than ever. Worse for better, we endeavor to grind, moving with my family together. We on the jet fuel, pushing to the highest level. Call me your highness rebel, smoking the finest ever. Call me green thumb, bitch, remember mine forever. My Ohio and we ain't coming down no time if ever. Jet fuel in the air, middle fingers everywhere, 100 deep up in here, yeah. Fuck the haters, we don't care if it's the mile high club round here. Jet fuel in the air, middle fingers everywhere, 100 deep up in here, yeah. Fuck the haters, we don't care if it's the mile high club round here. I got your medication, see we lacing the nation. What we blaze is amazing, stoner of the year here, I'm the dream that you're chasing. If you take another hit, I know your heart be racing. See, I be burning with burner, because me and Burner know Mary's a very good earner. She be turning up and you can never get enough. You could never spend it up, you just wanna spend it up. No room for hesitation, cause if you're waiting, people taking medication, be gone. They say green thumb, tell us why you waited so long. This ain't no pre-run, homie, what we serve is the bomb. Jet fuel in the air, middle fingers everywhere, 100 deep up in here, yeah. Fuck the haters, we don't care if it's the mile high club round here. Jet fuel in the air, middle fingers everywhere, 100 deep up in here, yeah. Fuck the haters, we don't care if it's the mile high club round here.
There it is right there. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why we're playing Be Real tracks. Because I keep mentioning funky field tips on my podcast. It is something that I want to promote on my podcast. And I don't want anything for free from Be Real or Funky Field Tips. But what I want is for you guys to say, hey, cool. You know, that's all I want. That's all I want you to do. Alright, maybe I want one free funky field tip. Maybe I want to be able to spread love for funky field tips on the East Coast. I can't do that if I can't get in touch with anybody in the Be Real camp. So, I'm just going to keep playing songs. I'm going to play songs without permission, and I got to over the next couple of weeks on my podcast, I'm going to be doing a lot more things that I don't have permission to do because I could give a fuck less about that. I'm going to be sharing I'm going to be playing a lot of music. We're going to start playing tunes, and I don't give a fuck. If somebody sues me, it's called being famous. So, that's why we're playing Be Real songs. So, before we go into the break, we're playing another Be Real song. Be Real, I love the shit out of you, by the way. You're the fucking man. And with the Smoke Box, and with the Dr. Green Thumb show, and you've got a lot of stuff going on. And I'm just saying, send one of your managers or somebody to just send me an email and say, hey, here's what we want you to read. And I'll do that. I want people to know about funky field tips. Since I bought them, I have not rolled without them. I can't. I can't do it. So I'm looking over there and I'm thinking, what should I play you? I'm thinking, what track would be good for, what would the people like? And I'm thinking that this Start a Fire track, produced by Peter Pan and Hunter Bryson, West One Productions. I think this one is some serious trap music. And I think that that you people will like this. So I'm going to play Start a Fire, Dr. Green Thumb, and then we're going to come back after this.
I know that you hot, I get you higher. Smoking weed until my lungs retire. You say you's a stoner, you's a liar. Light that paper up and start a fire. 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 You say you's a stoner, you's a liar. Light that paper up and start a fire.
Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up. Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up. Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up. Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up.
I'm holding them trees, they looking at me when they look for a remedy. We set that tone, chasing that dream, everything be essentially always moving. We can't stop what we doing, product improving. Y'all can't do it, I run through it like a track star, man, I'm a shoo-in. That fire starter. That one with the jet fuel put you on cloud 9. When I spark in the crowd, I never leave until everybody have a loud time. That flower sweet, wrap it up in a white girl, I don't need a blunt wrap. Green thumb, he stay in the streets, and I got strains, I don't ever have to make a comeback. I know that you hot, I get you higher. Smoking weed until my lungs retire. You say you's a stoner, you's a liar. Like that paper up and start a fire. 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 You say you's a stoner, you's a liar. Like that paper up and start a fire.
Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up. Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up. Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up. Jet fuel, twist it up. Watch the way we light this up.
Don't play me too close, I'll give you that dose. When we grow, we the most professional. Checking your posts, watching you lust on the weed, green thumb confessional. We keep rolling, all that jet we holding, pockets all swollen. Y'all be knowing, all that shit we be growing, everybody blowing. When you come to the doctor looking for the OG, homie, I'ma call away. You'll never need a second opinion, I be hitting my shots as I fall away. They call me green thumb, but when I roll up, then I become Dr. J. You hitting them joints, you hitting them blunts, and taking those puffs, I say. I know that you hot, I get you higher. Smoking weed until my lungs retire. You say you's a stoner, you's a liar. Like that paper up and start a fire. 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 You say you's a stoner, you's a liar. Like that paper up and start a fire. Start a fire.
Hey everybody, this is Andy from the Andy Dare Show, just thanking you for checking out the Jay Porks Experience. If you want to learn more about Jay, follow him on Twitter at JPorks. Follow him on Instagram at JPorks. JPorks.com for the podcast, articles, pictures, you name it. There's a running theme here. It's JPorks. So for 2015, if you want to support the Dare Podcast Network, all you got to do is go to theandydareshow.com and click on the Amazon banner, and you will be tipping your cap to the Jay Porks Experience and all the fine broadcasting here at Dare Network. Thanks for listening, and back to the Jay Porks Experience.
And we're back. That was Start a Fire, Dr. Green Thumb. Like I said before, I'm not coming on here saying that Be Real's The Prescription mixtape is the Magna Carta Holy Grail. You know, I'm not saying that this is the 36 Chambers. This is not, the purple tape. It's just awesome, laid-back, weed-smoking music. For those of us who like to indulge in the herbification, it pairs well with Be Real's mixtape. So check it out, The Prescription. It's on DatPiff. DatPiff.com. Yes, you will never hear me sound as white as I am until I'm saying DatPiff.com. All right. Also in hip-hop, every Friday night, Fabulous is dropping a freestyle. And he's doing it over 90s beats. So you guys should definitely check that out. I'm going to try to... I should have a SoundCloud playlist with all the Fabulous freestyles. If there's a YouTube playlist, there'll be something, and I'll find it. They're all awesome. Every Friday night, Fabulous is dropping freestyle. Fabulous, Brooklyn's finest. So, there's that. I'll link you up to that. I get really excited about it. I keep sharing them. You might see me tweeting about them. You might say, hey, who are these? What is this guy talking about? Who is Fabulous? And why is he spelling Fabulous wrong? Not spelling it wrong. That's how you spell it. Fabolous. Alright. Every week the headlines are powered by Annie Quiet. And you know what we have? Remember a couple of weeks ago I said that the fake Grateful Dead tour that was going to Wrigley Field this summer. Not Wrigley Field, I'm sorry. I was talking about Wrigley Field. Soldier Field this summer. Remember I said that they were going to play Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium before that, and I said a bunch of people were going to get pissed? Remember when I said that? Well, it's been booked. It's actually happening. 2 California dates via Brooklyn Vegan. Surviving Grateful Dead members already announced 3 Chicago shows to celebrate the band's 50th anniversary, which sold out very quickly. Now, as rumored, they've added 2 more shows happening at Santa Clara, California's Levi's Stadium on June 27th and 28th. Like the Chicago shows, the members will be joined by Trey Anastasio, Jeff Chimity, and Bruce Hornsby. All tickets for the Levi's Stadium shows are available now, which is, if you're hearing this, it's probably too late, through this online ticketing system through Tuesday, April 14th. It's definitely over now. And Bill Kretzmann has a book tour for his upcoming memoir, Deal, My 3 Decades of Drumming, Dreams, and Drugs with the Grateful Dead, is due out May 5th via St. Martin's Press. And there's a letter from the dead, which is impossible because Jerry Garcia is not alive, neither is Pigpen, but somehow there's a letter, Dear the Deadheads. And so, yeah, I'm going to share that with you. That's via Brooklyn Vegan, if you want it. And all the stuff coming out of Coachella is just utterly ridiculous. I mean, first of all, there's not even, I don't even see artists that I care about. I mean, yeah, good. I'm glad Jack White played a career-spanning set. That probably would have been awesome if I was there. Reading about you tweet about it doesn't make me feel any good about it. Drake? Don't care. I already told you I hate the Drake. Here's the thing about Madonna making out with Drake. Madonna isn't relevant to not only is Madonna not relevant to Coachella, Madonna's not relevant to Drake. Like, she's too old for even me to know who she, like, I barely know who Madonna is. I'm a little too young to even know or care about her. She made out with Drake? Big deal. Like I care? I just want to know, does she still get the fake British accent? Because for some reason, even though she's from America, she has a fake British accent because she lived in London for 5 minutes or something. Whatever the case may be. Also going on, Me Puppets playing California with Soul Asylum. By the time I'm allowed to announce these shows, this podcast would have aired already, so I can say what it is. July 20th, West Hollywood, California. July 21st in Anaheim, California. July 23rd, San Diego, California. Those are all House of Blues locations. They're playing the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, July 24th. The Independent in San Francisco on the 25th. They're in Napa Valley at the Uptown Theater for Sunday, July 26th. And Thursday, July 30th in Portland, Oregon at Revolution Hall. And Clearwater Casino on Friday, July 21st at Washington, a town I can't pronounce. Suquamish? That is so weird. Anyway, so those are happening. Me Puppets and Soul Asylum. That is a lot of House of Blues locations. So I was just adding those to the website. And going on at andyquiet.com every week. We brand new. No, I mean the band brand new. The band brand new has a brand new song. It's called Maine. Check that out at Andy Quiet. Yeah, it's... How was I not gonna have a play on words with the brand new by brand new? Spirit in the Room, Jumping the Gun. It's Dennis Sanders, a.k.a. Spirit in the Room, releases new jams every week. And check that out. We've got a review of the new Noel Gallagher LP. And it's Noel Gallagher's Birds Fly Even Higher on second LP. So if you want to get an idea of what that's going to be. And Rat-a-tat-tat premiered a new... No, Rat-a-tat. Not Rat-a-tat-tat. Rat-a-tat. They premiered a new song called Cream on Chrome. That was while they were playing on stage at Coachella. They dropped that. So you could have listened to that if you weren't watching them dehydrated in the desert. What's up with the clothing situation at Coachella? I mean, when I see that, I start thinking, how did all these bums get tickets to a concert? And I get it, peace, man. It's all like, you guys are trying to replicate something that happened 50 years ago. And no, I'm not saying Woodstock because I know the hippie movement started in California. I'm aware of that. That's over. I mean, it's not even in San Francisco. It's in the desert. It's in Indio. And they watered it down. They have 2 weekends. So now, it's happening next weekend. So if you're in California, which one do you want to go to? Do you want to wait for the first weekend and then know what you're going to see the second weekend? Or do you want to, because spontaneity, go the first weekend? Now, are you afraid that do you go both weekends because you're afraid that your favorite artist is going to bring out, Madonna or something when he's not going to bring them out next week or whatever? Dude, however you want to spend your thousands of dollars, enjoy spending them. It's thousands of dollars lost, lots of dehydration in a state that's got no water anyway. I gotta tell you, it sucks that this drought is happening in California because California has the best weed in the world, and I cannot have that being affected. Chances are what I'm smoking on now comes from California, and I cannot have that being affected. So please, rain gods, answer me. And Noel Gallagher's got a new video for Riverman, and he's dominating the top-selling vinyl chart in the UK. This is courtesy of Christina Rocks. And Ride interview and full performance from Coachella and the Time Warp playlist. And Kelly Deal's got a side project, P-Ring, and they debuted a song. R-Ring, I'm sorry. R.Ring. Kelly Deal and Ampline's Mike Montgomery. Back in action. They've returned with a new song called Singing Tower. Check that out. There'll be links, all that jazz. Alright, I let the emails pile up, so they got up to 3. So we're going to have an email segment. And if I keep playing Be Real tracks, if they would write me back, the email segment would be sponsored by Funky Field Tips. Funky Field Tips bringing from Roar and Cypress Hill, bringing a smooth, sultry experience to the flower connoisseur. Really. You don't get to know better. Gets no better than when you're smoking out of a Funky Field Tip. When you buy the raw organic papers and they give you those cardboard tips, fuck that noise. I'm not about that life. So, Funky Field Tips. And if you want to get into the email, all you got to do is write me an email, jporkspodcast@gmail.com, and I don't care what the topic is. You can tell me, and I'll say, I'll answer. Maybe I won't answer. So holler at me. Let me know. First one's from Jillian. And Jillian writes, Jay, whatever happened at the hotel where the girl got shot? You said more on that later, as if a personal experience was involved. I did say that, and dude, I'm so glad someone's listening. Thank you, Jillian. Yeah, I do remember not getting back to that, and what I was going to say is, the table was telling me that some girl got shot at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. In the back of my mind, I said, oh shit. Now, the reason I said, oh shit, was because I used to have a girlfriend because, I don't live alone, so I used to have a girlfriend, and that's one of the hotels that we used to go to hang out. Hang out is what they say from time to time. And if people are shooting people there, I need a new game plan. So, but I do have a new game plan. No, here's the game plan. The game plan is I haven't had sex in a long, long time, and I don't see it happening in a long, long time, so I don't need to know which hotel I'm going to for a long, long time. Okay. Going back over here to Gil. Gil's writing an email. How did you like that title ad? What, was that a joke? Is that a joke? Did anyone, there's a commercial for Tidal, and all the artists are sitting around. And they're like, technology. Madonna with the fake accent. It became about technology and not about the artist, and we have to make it about the artist again. No. It's not about the artist. It's about the music. It's about if I like the sounds you make, I'm going to listen again. If there's anything I needed was a bunch of elitist pricks charging me more for music. It's like $25 a month. I get Spotify for like $8. Oh, fuck out of here. This is an email that I saw earlier, and I still don't know my answer. Jean writes, how do you feel about Frances Bean Cobain saying her dad is overvalued in death? Yeah, that was tough for me. That was first of all, I'm not in the family, so I don't want to make definitive statements or comments or anything like that. Frances is family, so she can talk about her family in ways other people aren't supposed to be talking about her family. That being said, to say that there's a guy that people put on a pedestal because he's dead, even though he died when you were 2 years old, I don't really think you can say that. But again, she's got access to more home movies than I do, so I don't know. I said it to a couple of older people. I've got some customers who are really into music, which is good, which is why they come in to see me. But like I just said the sentence, I said, do you think, first of all, I can say the words Frances Bean and they don't know who that is. So I just say, this is what Frances Bean said. And the overwhelming concept was that these people would respond to me, bullshit. But, listen, I'm too young to even say what the case is. But, really? That seems like the ultimate against the grain thing to do. You don't have to like the band. I get it. She said I'm not really into Nirvana. I like Oasis. That's cool. But this whole, the way they value, first of all, like if my dad was famous, I would never be able to judge his value because he's my dad. I would never be able to judge his importance because he's my dad. It's too close to me. So I would say no comment. But then again, I'm not the executive producer of the hottest documentary coming out this year. So I can't, I'm not in her shoes. I don't know. So to answer your question, Gene, I'm not in the family. So I can't say anything. I can't say whether I agree or disagree with Frances Bean Cobain's comments because Frances Bean Cobain, that's her dad. So, and I'm not about to. My favorite band, but I'm just Jay Porks. So if you want to get into the email segment, and guys, really, listen, I say it's so easy. jporkspodcast@gmail. You don't even have to listen to the podcast. Then again, if you aren't listening to the podcast, how would you know I'm saying this? Damn. I feel like I've lost my smile. And it's not because I don't want to drop the title to Bret Hart. I just feel like I've lost my smile over the last couple of months. Whatever. jporkspodcast@gmail.com. All right. I am going to give you the list of websites you need to go to help keep me in business. Before I get up on out of here, it's about late enough. I work Wednesdays now. I think, if that girl actually quit. Alright. You go to concertconfessions.com for all the live music news and reviews for the fans, by the fans, all that stuff, or everything you need. If you want to say, hey, what's this band doing live these days? Go to concertconfessions.com. Check it out. New reviews. We've got Boys to Men at the Northern Quest Casino, Airway Heights, Washington. I've been to the Northern Quest Casino. We've got the Wands at Birdie's in Indianapolis. We've got Death Cab for Corporations at the iHeart Theater in Burbank. I know it's Death Cab for Cutie, but the title says Death Cab for Corporations, and you'll find out why when you read it. Also, AndyDeer.com. That's HQ, baby. Headquarters. That's where all your podcast needs, whether that's The Tyler Cale Show, The Andy Deer Show, Spin Class with Tyler and Andy, or the smooth, sultry tones of the J Parks Experience. You can get that all at AndyDeer.com, and theandydeershow.com. Even though it sounds like I'm saying deer like the animal, I'm saying deer like Derer. Derer. But saying derer kind of makes my jaw feel weird, so I'm going to say deer. ChristinaRocks.com. There's no H in Christina. Hang the DJ, 89xradio.com every Sunday morning for the Time Warp. Throwback Thursday, except it's on Sunday. We'll see, like, it's Throwback Thursday, except for the fact that it's on Sunday and it's not Thursday. But Sunday morning, 8 to noon, check her out. She's posting things like, you can like Time Warp on Facebook, all that. And every week, we have the pleasure of having the headlines being sponsored by Annie Quiet, being driven, powered, whatever word you want to use, you can use it. The headlines be powered by Annie Quiet. Until next week, folks. Whiskey, weed, and Warren Zevon. Late.
This has been the J Parks Experience. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey there, Andy Deer Show fans. Dan here from Upper Michigan. I do the Superfan Dan podcast, and you can also find me at superfan_Dan on Twitter. I just did a series of interviews on a short film called Dead Metaphors. You can find a link to that on my Twitter page. My buddy Steve has a lead role in the film. You know how when you're from a small town and there's always that one person that leaves and does some real cool things? Well, that's Steve. He worked with Metallica, played in Jason Newsted's band Papa Wheelie, acted in a bunch of movies with Sean Penn. Anyway, I talked to him about all that and his latest film project, Dead Metaphors. I also talked with the director, producer, and a sound guy, even the cameraman. So check that out and enjoy the Andy Dare Show. Thanks, Andy. Talk to you later.
Yo, what goes on, people? Jay Porks here. Just reminding you to keep it locked to the Deer Network throughout 2015, where you can get the Tyler Cale Show, the smooth, sultry tones of the Jay Porks Experience, or the Andy Deer Show. Keep it locked to AndyDeer.com. 2015, big things coming.